It is great to have your company here on Business Now. Look, reports in The Australian this morning suggest that government's considering scrapping the luxury car tax as part of a renewed free trade negotiation with the European Union. The luxury car tax, currently 33% for petrol and diesel-driven cars, worth more than $80,567. And also for fuel-efficient vehicles, it kicks in over $91,387. Now, the definition of a fuel-efficient vehicle is one that has a combined fuel consumption of no more than 7 litres per 100 kilometres. But from July 1 this year, that changes to 3.5 litres per 100 k's, which means more plug-in hybrids will become subject to the tax as well. There's other stuff that they've already been hit with. The car industry does need a boost. The latest sales figures show a drop of 6.8% in sales compared with the same month last year. Toyota, you can see here, remains easily the market leader, 19,380 vehicles sold, followed by Ford, about 7,300, Mazda, about 6,500, and Kia 6,300, and Hyundai is 5,500. So let's bring in here Dave McGowan, who is the Director of Motoring Content at News Corporation. Dave, this has all been pushed around the place a little bit. Let's start with the sales themselves. They have fallen noticeably. What's that about?
Well, we always see sales soften up quite a bit in April for a couple of reasons. One, there's quite a few holidays going on. You've got Easter, you've got Anzac Day. There's fewer sale days of
Yeah, but there's a bit more than that, isn't it?
It so is, yeah. There's a whole lot going on. There's a cost of living crisis. We've had an election. Sales should pop back a little bit now that people have a bit more certainty about what's going on. They don't know if taxes are going to drop or, you know, whose policy is going to be in place. There's a lot more certainty now.
OK, then take me to the hybrids and the electric vehicles and what happens to them in the future and why it was that electric vehicle sales slumped so dramatically in this past month compared with last year.
EV sales in Australia have really been driven by the success of Tesla. And now, as we all know, Tesla has had a pretty tricky start to 2025 through Elon Musk and some of the scandals.
So you're saying the Musk effect has even happened here in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely.
That people have stopped buying Tesla because they don't like Elon Musk and his Doge policies?
I think that's a big part of it. I think also that their best-selling car is the Tesla Model Y, which was right at the end of its life.
So what you're saying is there's green voters out there, maybe teal voters, going, I'm not buying that Tesla because I don't like Elon. Really? I like the car, I don't like Elon. I won't buy the car.
I've seen the bumper stickers in Australia, so it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. Yeah, I think Elon definitely has had an effect on Tesla sales. But yeah, their best-selling car is right at the end of its life. We always see a bit of a dip in sales as a model is being phased out, and there's a new one just around the corner.
OK, but then it's not just that. It's also plugged-in hybrids. And we mentioned the tax treatment of them has changed just in April and is going to change again as of July. So just explain what happened there, because that had a big impact on their sales during this quarter as well.
Yeah, so the Albanese government quite a few years ago, or a few years ago now, introduced an EV discount that was just for people who leased cars. You basically wouldn't pay any fringe benefits tax on electric cars or plug-in hybrids. Now, the plug-in hybrid element to that phased out on April 1, which means we've just seen the first month of no bonuses for plug-in hybrid cars, and as a result, sales have dropped quite a few percent, although it's off a pretty small base anyway. So basically, yes, without government incentives, plug-in hybrids are dropping. EVs are also dropping, although they still retain their incentives.
So there should be a deal out there somewhere for those.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see a lot of deals coming on. Car companies are really struggling to move product at the moment, and June is always an amazing time to buy a car as everyone tries to get their numbers up before the end of the financial year.
OK, take me all the way back to where we started. Suggestions that the government could possibly, or is considering, dropping the luxury car tax because of its negotiation with Europe. Now, that's all about German car manufacturers, French car manufacturers, Italian car manufacturers. But when that luxury car tax was put in place, it was to protect the local car manufacturing industry. But that's been gone for more than 10 years now. So the tax remains.
The tax remains because it generates $1.2 billion in revenue, and that's a lot of money you've got to find from somewhere else.
And it's a fat cat tax, right? So the government would sit there, Labor government especially, and say, well, they can pay it, right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that we didn't see them out on the, out on the hustings during the election.
Oh, you bet you're not surprised about that.
Yeah, make the Maseratis cheaper for millionaires. That one was campaigning on that. So it's not surprising to see this come through after the election has been done. But you're absolutely right. The EU is really looking. They've got a big fight on with China in their car industry. In Australia, Volkswagen's sales have halved in the last 10 years. Fiat is selling 10% of the cars that it was in 2015. These are companies that are fighting for their existence right now. And this LCT thing would really help them.
Just a final quick one here. Does the left-hand drive, right-hand drive thing really affect it? Because I would think, like, if there's surplus cars not going to America, they may not be diverted here because of that left-hand drive, right-hand drive thing.
Yeah, the cars that have been built, certainly that's the case. But when they're forecasting it and deciding where they're going to send things around, that might give them an opportunity to send some product to Australia that might not have been sent here otherwise.
So it's not like washing machines or televisions where literally you can just drop them somewhere else in the world. Here, you've actually got to make them specifically for Australia, a right-hand drive country.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And there's a few other things as well, like the way that we connect our child seats in the back of the car is different to pretty much everywhere else in the world. And we've got different side impact rules and things like that too.
Well, I'll tell you what, David, it's always good to have your company here on the program, and many thanks for it today.
Thank you.
You have really good insight, but you got a tip. It's a good time to buy a car in June. Anyway.